Out on a nice sunny afternoon in September. We're out at the Kansas River and just north of town. You can see the bridge behind me there. Well, you can also see behind me is the North Lawrence sanctioned homeless site. I know there's going to be a little bit of wind noise probably here, but you'll see the sanctioned site, and then you can see all the tents on the outside of the sanctioned site that are spread along the levee. I wasn't going to go live, but I noticed a couple things, so I thought, we're just going to have to do this now. You all know that I got a trespassing charge out here, and it was about protesting the way this camp is, and a lot of it had to do with the security of this camp. And each time I came out here, it was about the fact that they had no controls over this camp. City staff even admitted that there were holes in the fence. They claim to have been fixing them every day, but I have evidence that shows otherwise. And I think anybody that's out here knows otherwise. But if you'll notice now, and when I was talking to one of the residents out here, it was at the beginning of September. They made a mention about it being finished probably in the last Thursday of July. So this would have been after the most recent charge for trespassing that I got for challenging their authority to trespass out of a half-secured camp that they were letting people come into, and people ended up getting harmed. There was violence out here a number of times, serious charges levied. People go to the hospital and get stitches in their forehead and things. But they finally fixed that fence. If you look down there, they've got top rail across that fence. I've kind of stayed away from here recently because these cases are coming close. But I want to make sure everybody sees this. I'm going to go into court, and they have done everything they can to make this look as pretty as they can today. Because if you came out here today, you wouldn't know that there was a problem with this whole situation out here. They're still not quite controlling the camp. They're still not quite keeping visitors out. I'm told by a resident that as long as staff escorts him in, even though he's been kicked out of there, he's allowed to go in. So who's allowed, who's not, I guess it's still completely discretionary, but at least they've put this fence in at least in order to where they can claim they have some sense of security. Because up until the last few weeks, like I said, at the very end of, it's either at the end of July or into August. In either case, it was after my trespassing charge. But they finally got this fence in order. And I wanted to go live today and just show everybody this, because this is how the city reacts. It was reactive all along. This whole trespassing thing started the night that Ashley Sawyer was found deceased in here. And the word came down to get the press out of the camp. The word coming down to get the press out of the camp is your first mistake. And just about everything they did since then has been to try to justify that first mistake and get them on a level playing field to where they're able to actually enforce it. So at this point, I'll acknowledge, now that they've fixed this fence and they've done all these things, I'll acknowledge that they have the authority now, that they've established that in the statutes. However, the way they're enforcing it is still discretionary, arbitrary, and we've never been presented any kind of a method of applying to get access. I know that other reporters have tried to get access in there, and they're told that they can't go in either. So it's, they're trying to make it even for everybody, but only the ones that will comply. The people that sneak in and out of the camp and do everything that they're doing, and the drugs and alcohol and the violence and everything that goes on still goes on. It's just the advocates, the press, and people that would expose what the city's doing that has been thrown out of here. So that's the reality of the situation, but kudos to the city for finally getting that fence in order. to a point where they can actually claim to enforce a statute. Now, I'm pretty sure on the other side over in the woods, there's a couple spots where people can sneak through and stuff. But you know, it's not out in the open. It's not something that somebody can just walk up and just walk through. You know, many times there were just open holes in this fence. Many times the fence was just down and trampled on, and it had grass growing over it and into it. So that's not fixed every day when there's grass growing over and into it, guys. And you know, I documented all this all along. You guys know I was out here with that camera every single day, and I have all this on record. But kudos for finally fixing it. And I tell you, we're still very fearful about how you guys are going to handle pallet, but we'll leave that for a future conversation, guys. Lawrence Accountability, sign